just talking to a guy today that, here's something to think about. He had a 42-foot well drilled on his land out by Granite Falls. And they're taking all this water for ethanol plants. Now, his well and 4 other neighboring farmers there went dry about 3 weeks ago. It's a lack of moisture.
There's a lack of moisture, there's more consumption too, but to your point, there is this article I sent to Steve about, I think it was the aquifer up at White Bear Lake, and I think they're, in the last 30 years, their water usage has doubled. And it's taxing their aquifer.
For the ethanol plants.
No, it's just for overdevelopment.
Residential, yeah.
Right, exactly. I mean,
Yeah,
there's your concern, and it's
the ethanol plants.
as simple as that. Yeah.
Humongous amount.
Now,
Right.
that would Preston draw off that? You think
Well,
they'd be
I don't know what
related?
aquifer they're in, but it doesn't really, it doesn't matter. There's about 4 or 5 different aquifers, isn't there? I think there is. And when one runs dry, then they drill and go to another, and that goes dry, and then they go to another. It is a concern.
Yeah.
Yes.
How deep did we have to go with this last well that we drilled up swimming pool? Do you remember?
I thought it was drilled to 600 feet or something. I thought I remember hearing.
I think that's what we are here.
Here, yeah.
Yeah.
And the well is sitting at like 400 and some.
620 popped in my mind when you said that,
Yeah.
but maybe, that is around.
I know it's drilled a lot deeper than where the well sits.
Did you hear anything about the village? The
haven't
new
heard
well that
there's-
they punched over there?
No.
I had heard 175 feet.
That is.
That's what I heard. That's what,
Well, there are State Department rules though as to which aquifer you can actually draw from. Because we couldn't, one of our wells was a blended one, where we were drawing from more than one, and they won't let you do that anymore. And you have to go to certain aquifers, so I would think the village would have those same
But isn't that
state
what they're doing?
rules.
The whole point is to,
They're trying to
they
get.
said it, yep, they said it tested fine and
but you just said that,
When she said blended,
yeah,
we were drawing from more than one aquifer. It wasn't blended. They're
Not
blending the
blended
water
above
up here.
ground.
This
Okay.
is
Already
blended below
blended.
ground.
Okay.
Below ground, yeah.
Okay.
alright.
Let's go on. Anything else on this? Which just spurred some discussion.
See what he's got to say.
It's got to be of concern.
Yeah, it is concerned. 5E, review monthly newsletter from EDA Center, University of Minnesota. Anything on that? Alright, number 6, the consent agenda.
I had a question. Now, if I can find it again. I was gonna call you earlier, Kathy, but I'll just check with Kathy when I find it again. There it is. Medicare reactivation fee.
Yeah, through the ambulance licensing.
Oh,
We
okay.
just have to re-license.
Okay, I didn't catch
Yeah,
the code.
Department of Human Services.
Yeah. Okay.
Move to accept the consent agenda?
One question.
Do you want to withdraw a second?
I'll withdraw.
Motion to withdraw, go ahead, Mark.
I just had one question with that main break we were talking about last meeting. Did a bunch of those hours go to banked, or did that, I'm not seeing a huge change. I know that they were up there as We had a few guys up there on that, didn't we?
Yeah,
Quite a while.
Roger and Jeff usually always bank their time. And, I think there was, or there would've been probably, Bill
Both
could have,
Davids were up there.
yeah, they would've, I don't think they were there too terribly many hours that night, because they went back the next day. I mean,
Yeah.
they just, took care of it that night and,
Just got it stopped that night.
yep,
and-
stopped it and then went back and finished it up during the regular workday.
Okay, that's why it didn't change much then, so.
Yeah.
You talking about that fix they had, the neck up there,
Yeah.
Circle Drive?
Yeah, there were 12 hours paid in October, and at least, and 4 of those would have been your normal rounds and weekends.
Yeah.
No, 4 of them. So, 8 hours of breaks split between the two, 3 guys or
Okay,
whatever.
yeah, I just didn't see it
Yeah.
change much, so I
Yeah.
didn't know if it had hit the books yet or not, Kathy, no big deal.
Mhm.
Another question I got is, wasn't that all new water line and sewer around there?
Nope, not water in that part,
Okay, and why?
because it was newer and big enough. And they tested everything, they cameraed everything and they looked at everything, and it was all newer and large enough and didn't need to be replaced. So we didn't need to tear up the whole street because what was there was okay. And this was just one of those weird things where sometimes things.
Well, I agree, but,
Yeah.
we were talking about, hey, this was gonna be good for 20, 30 years without a break.
Well, but that one was not new. I mean, they didn't replace that because they didn't, at the time when they did all their camera work, it looked good, And it wasn't old either, so.
I had a question, was that the same dimension pipe that they did replace farther down by Hunter Holtz and
No, I think it was smaller down there. No,
It
yeah.
was originally smaller
The
and it
older
matched
stuff
it.
was smaller,
Yes.
yeah, and then they matched it up to the bigger stuff, because going around this cul-de-sac, I think, was bigger.
I believe that's right,
Yeah.
that's what I remember.
Because there were some weird connections where some of those houses went right into a manhole instead of going to the main, because that's where the development stopped at one point, and then they started the new development of houses, so it was kind of a weird patched job up there.
was that where the break was in one of those ill-advised connections?
No, this was around the curve all the way. It was in just one of the regular.
Why was the, natural gas digging over on the street, not Center Street, but the next one up?
Well, they had to move some of their things off of the dike too. They have some lines or what are those stations called? They have some of those things sitting on the levee systems that they had to move also. And I know they were putting new service lines under the, they've just been upgrading their lines, their service lines too, so.
But shouldn't that been played into before they blacktopped everything?
And I'm not sure exactly where you're talking about, but maybe they had a problem there too.
I'm
I don't
talking
know.
about,
Maybe they had an issue.
what is that next street up there?
Northview.
Is that
Where
what it is?
are you, in the north end, or where are you?
Center Street is the first street coming
Yep.
this way, and then the next one over.
North,
Would that be North
next
Street?
one, or Northview Street, Northview, to the north?
Yeah.
That's Northview Street.
So it was down about 1, 2, 3, about 3 or 4 houses in. They dug the street up. Natural gas did.
Unless they had to put in a new service line to a house or something, I don't know.